All right, guys, here's an update on this pw50. I got this pw50 for like $200 as a parts bike. Was not running. I can obviously tell it looked like it had a brand new top end kit on it. Guy probably went through a whole bunch of frustration and, redid everything, could not figure it out. I cleaned the carb, did all that. Same problem with me. I saw that the crank was still good. One problem I noticed, right away, that someone sanded down these cases where the base gasket goes with a power tool. And I was thinking maybe it's not sealing well here, but before I did a pressure test and I was kicking it and I did not see anything getting by there. I was thinking it was toast because I put my hand over the intake tube, which was on here before, and I was kicking it and I could feel that it was almost blowing my finger off. So I knew right away, this is something, check this out on your pw50 before you do a full rebuild or whatever if it's not starting. I'm assuming this is probably pretty common. So I'll show you right away. Again, I put my own brand new top end on here. I sealed that up with gasket maker, did the top end compression test. I ended up putting the OEM cylinder head back on because you do get a lot more compression, top end compression with the OEM one. The eBay one does take some compression away. And I was thinking maybe that's why it wouldn't start. Then, like I said, I had my hand over the intake or I was spraying in starting fluid in there and I saw it was kind of like coughing it back up. So then I was like, oh, maybe I should check the reeds. No one ever probably thinks to replace the reeds on these things. They're actually steel or metal reeds instead of, plastic or carbon fiber. So I ordered some new Boyson, I don't know if they're carbon fiber or plastic, but Boyson reeds that say that, gives it a little more power. So here's what I found. Right away, I'm pulling this off, and I gave it a couple kicks. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, it sounds like the reeds are open. If you look in here, I'll get this to adjust. There is a rock stuck in the intake holding one of the flaps open. So that would explain everything of why this thing would not run. The other thing of concern I have now is, why is there a rock in there? And are there any more? And are they inside the engine? But I checked the crank. There is no play in the crank here. Other than that, it's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these reeds out. We're going to look at it really quick. Pull that rock out, I guess, as safe as I can. And then probably put the Boysons in. I'll show you the difference between the stock. I'm assuming these are stock. It looks like they're steel, probably never replaced. And then we'll put this thing back together, and I'm sure this thing is going to run. So yeah, I got this thing. I'd say that's the reason why we got this thing so cheap, and it has lived most of its life as a spare parts bike. When I bought it from the guy, he said he was keeping it as a spare parts bike, and I was determined to have, now that we have two boys, have two P-dubs. So yeah, I'm gonna pull that thing off real quick. All right, guys, quick tip. Don't pry all around these edges with a screwdriver. There is a little tab right here, and you can put a flathead and pry against this right under here, pop it up without scratching anything. So let's see. All right, gasket ripped. And look at that. That is why it is not sucking anything in. The other one is even bad too. If you can see, I'll put it up on the bench here. Your reeds should stay closed. You can obviously see the one on my left is wide open. Maybe that's not a rock. I'm just being hopeful that it's not a rock. Whatever, I guess it doesn't matter. But look at the other flap next to it is open. So these are, even without the rock in there, shot. And yeah, let's see if it's a rock. Pull this flap up. It's really stuck in there too. All right. All right, that's what it is. It's pretty hard. Yeah, it's hard, so it's probably a piece of rock or something. Cool. Now let's see. I wonder if it would run like that. Nah, I wouldn't risk it. All right, let me show you. I got two of them because I was like, well, now I have a Now I have 3 pw50 motors in my possession, so I don't know how those are, but I'm gonna put new reeds in every motor, since you actually have to take the motor apart like this, or you have to pull the motor out of the frame to open this reed block. So since they're all apart, I'm not putting these stock in. And again, these don't last forever too. I got gaskets, good thing. This is what the okay. Here is the proper way. So it goes the big piece, then this small piece, then if you can see in here, that little part that was on the top called a rev plate, and then your old top and bottom. And so it shows here. You have the big piece that was on the bottom, the flaps, then the rev plate, I guess that lets it open up a little wider, and then your old top piece. So it goes like this, new gasket, and had to vapor blast the intake tube because it just did not look up to par. I mean, I can't assemble anything without vapor blasting it. Actually, here's some stuff we did today, some Banshee cases, calipers, a whole bunch of nuts and bolts. So cleaned up the gasket surface. I'm gonna put this thing back in here. Forget. How does it go? Yeah. Okay. And this goes like this. Pretty sure, yeah. And then that's where the screws are. So this has to be right here. And that's it. All right, I'm gonna put this thing back together and we'll see if it starts. All right, so I really quickly just threw this thing back together. It's missing this thing was, again, this was a parts bike, so the choke is completely gone and broken. Gas tank's barely hooked up, but it's got some gas in it. And somewhere along the lines, I think the throttle cable is seized, but I think I could pull it here to give it gas. And the intake is not on, so yeah, this would be the first time, if it starts, that it ever ran in years. Again, it lived a lot of its last probably 10 years as a parts bike, so let's hope for the best. Oh, no way. Let's see if I can give it gas. All right. Turn on run. This is a brand new top end. I should probably let it break in first. Idles. Sounds pretty good. Oil line is not hooked up, but it's got premix. Wow. Sounds good. Yeah, I probably kicked this a million times, and it would only get, once in a while, it would get like a little ping, like a spark. That was it. No longer a parts bike. Just gotta put that intake on. Sounds like a loud intake. Yeah, pretty cool. Maybe should I take it easy on the new top end? Nah. No, that's how you break it in quicker. Uh-oh. Is it blowing up? Goodbye. I think we blew it up.